Back again with another YouTube video. It's your boy Ryan G. Today we're gonna react to moments that were not supposed to happen at Money in the Bank 2025. Let's get right into the video.
Hey guys, what is going on? This is WrestleMania here, back with some more news. Money in the Bank 2025 is officially in the books, and as always with the annual premium live event, there is always a fair share of botches and blunders. So with that being said, let's look at all the botches from the 2025 Money in the Bank event. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Where are the fans? One of the first things everyone collectively noticed during the opening match of Money in the Bank was the lack of fans. WWE promoted the show.
I did notice that. Not seeing that much in attendance.
As it being a sold-out event, but that didn't appear to be the case. Numerous empty seats were seen on all sides of the arena, and it later surfaced that there was a very good reason as to why this had happened. It turned out that there was a protest close to the arena, which meant that fans couldn't make their way to the show.
The green lights look nice also, but I'm hearing that he's saying that it was a protest, so now we understand.
Fans significantly, and this was why the seats would gradually be filled in as the show went on. There were some calls from fans who acquired tickets for WWE to push back the show, but obviously they didn't, but they would have been aware of the issues outside of the building. Razor's Edge. Rhea Ripley was set to perform a Razor's Edge on Roxanne Perez onto a prone ladder, and the idea was that Perez would roll out of the move and Ripley would crash into the ladder. The issue was that Perez would somehow also roll into the ladder head first. It looked brutal. Thankfully, Perez was okay, and she was able to transition into the next scripted spot without a hitch. A ladder sandwich. The ladder sandwich spot is common in the majority of WWE ladder matches and has been a modern staple of Money in the Bank ladder matches over the years. Money in the Bank 2025 was no exception. Rhea Ripley would be a victim of a ladder sandwich, but the spot went badly wrong. As Roxanne Perez and Julia attempted to trap Ripley in the ladder, one side of the ladder refused to cooperate, and it refused to be forced down. It was incredibly awkward as both women tried several times to make the spot work before the ladder eventually gave way. Pat McAfee would try to cover up for the botch by saying that Perez and Julia were brand new, and the hint.
Which ladder match was better in your opinion, the men's or the women's?
Kept getting locked up on them, and they needed to adjust accordingly. If that spot wasn't bad enough, it only got worse. The next scripted spot was to see Perez and Julia push another ladder onto Ripley, who was now trapped under the previous ladder. This spot was never going to work as intended, as the ladder just bounced off the ring ropes. The crowd would enthusiastically chant "one more time," but neither woman obliged, which was probably the right call, judging by the nature of the spot. Dragon Screw. One of Stephanie Vaccair's primary moves is the Dragon Screw. Vaccair attempted the move on Naomi last night, and there was immediate concern when Naomi had a horrific landing. It was almost as if Naomi's knee buckled and her audible scream raised alarm bells. There has been some concern as of late as to whether the move is safe, and it's been theorized by fans on social media that perhaps WWE names don't quite know how to take the move effectively. Interestingly, Mercedes Moné took the move in a similar way back at the Forbidden Door event in AEW, so it could be a deliberate choice from names such as Naomi and Moné to sell Vaccair's move in this manner to add a sense of realism and brutality to it. Too much, too soon. Stephanie Vaccair competed in 2 matches in the same day, and the fatigue of this was evidently catching up to her during the Money in the Bank ladder match. One spot saw Vaccair carrying Julia on her back up the ladder, and it was unclear what the planned spot was supposed to be.
Working 2 matches in the same day? That's a lot of work to do.
But both had to abandon the spot after Vaccair didn't have the energy to complete whatever was planned. WWE did a stellar job explaining the botch as they put it down to Vaccair working 2 matches in the space of a couple of hours, and this was a nice sense of realism that gave rationale as to why Vaccair may not be on the top of her game. Saw it coming. It's unclear if the spot between Roxanne Perez, Alexa Bliss, and Julia was an outright botch, or if 2 of the 3 women were forced to improvise. The spot saw Bliss attempt to push the 2 women off the ladder, but they decided to jump down just as Bliss was pushing the ladder. Was this the planned spot? Or did both women jump due to them clearly seeing Bliss in clear vision putting the wheels in motion for the spot? Either way, this type of spot was appreciated as it added a sense of realism to the match, as it makes no sense in the world for a wrestler to stay perched on a ladder if they can visibly see that a wrestler is about to push them off. Where is Stephanie? Towards the end of the match, Rhea Ripley looked set to climb to greatness and win the annual matchup. The issue is that the scripted spot was supposed to see Stephanie Vaccair.
My prediction was right. It was between Rhea Ripley Alexa Bliss or Naomi, and or how you pronounce it, Naomi or Naomi, either or. And Naomi won, so yeah, my prediction was right. Let's continue.
Pull her down from the ladder, and Vaquer was nowhere to be seen. This meant that Ripley had to awkwardly pause before her climb up the ladder and wait for Vaquer to get into a prone position. In Ripley's defense, she had no choice but to purposely do this. If Ripley began her ascent and stopped halfway up the ladder, this would have looked even worse. Ripley stopping for a few moments before beginning her climb was much more realistic, and it could easily be explained that the former WWE Women's Champion was regaining her composure before commencing the dreaded climb. Poor camera angle. The finish of the Lyra Valkyria vs. Becky Lynch showdown saw Lynch grab Valkyria's tights to secure the win and win the Women's Intercontinental title for the first time in her career. Whilst this finish was a great way to bring the match to a close, WWE failed to show the correct angle for the finish, so the fans had zero idea that Lynch had cheated to win. The reaction to this finish was lukewarm at best, and this was clearly because it wasn't clear for fans watching via the Titantron what had actually happened. Michael Cole was forced to improvise on commentary and explained that via his vantage point, it looked like Lynch had cheated to win. It'll be interesting to see if WWE releases any alternative angles for the match. Poor Angle 2.0. Poor camera angle.
Two poor camera angles. Let's see.
Choices seem to be a recurring theme of the show. One spot in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match saw Seth Rollins hit a pedigree on Penta, while Solo Sikoa hit a Samoan spike on LA Knight. The camera angle was a terrible choice, as it could barely be seen that Sikoa had just hit his finisher. Even the WWE commentary team completely missed the spot, as they were oblivious to what had happened. An almost disaster. A key high spot in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match saw LA Knight suplex El Grande Americano off the ladder. This spot was terrifying because Americano's head was approximately 2 inches away from bouncing off a ladder.
So there was almost an injury, is what you're saying.
That was laying on the ring canvas. Traditionally, if a wrestler is going to take a huge bump off of a ladder, it's custom to clear the ring of ladders and debris. This reduces the risk of injury and gives the wrestler a safe landing. It's unclear why the ladder in question wasn't removed from the ring.
Well, at least there wasn't no injury. Let's continue.
And it's a miracle that Americano, aka Chad Gable, wasn't seriously hurt. Is Michael Cole bored? Michael Cole is usually praised for having tons of enthusiasm when it comes to modern-day WWE. However, it appeared that during the main event of Money in the Bank, the voice of WWE was extremely bored. During a spot in the match which saw Logan Paul lock in a sleeper hold on Jey Uso, Cole could be seen in shot with his arms crossed, sitting back. Simply put, Cole looked bored and completely uninterested in what was unfolding in the ring. Moments later, Cole could be seen in shot again and had his arms unfolded, so it's entirely possible that someone in the production office noticed that Cole looked like he was completely...
And I checked my phone and saw the results. It said that R-Truth returned. I'm like, what? But they're saying that it's not even part of the script, but him coming back. We gotta see like what story they're trying to tell. You guys comment down below and tell me and predict what they're gonna do with R-Truth. Let's continue.
Completely fed up and requested that he change his demeanor. Calling spots. John Cena has often been criticized for calling spots out loud. However, at Money in the Bank, he took things to a whole new level. The camera picked up on Cena visibly calling spots in the match numerous times throughout the main event. It was almost as if Cena didn't care that the camera could clearly see what he was doing. One specific moment saw Cena deliver a shoulder tackle, and then he began outright shouting orders at Jey Uso, all in front of the hard camera.
What color is y'all favorite Cena attire?
Cena didn't even try to hide what he was doing. This is something that is never going to go away when it comes to Cena, and it's just the way he likes to format his matches. Buckshot fail. Logan Paul's botch is one of the main talking points coming out of Money in the Bank. Paul would main event the show, teaming with John Cena to take on Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes, and when Paul went...
So I see what they did there. They got matching colors, both teams.
To perform his trademark buckshot lariat, his knee buckled, and he, in essence, fell over. The crowd instantly reacted with negativity to Paul's botch, and Jey was forced to improvise by delivering a super kick to Paul. Credit should be offered to the world champion for working the botch into a spot, and in Paul's defense, it's a difficult move to execute perfectly 100% of the time. Thankfully for Paul, the majority of his other big spots in the match were delivered without any hiccups. There you have it, folks. All the botch.
That was moments that were not supposed to happen at WWE Money in the Bank 2025. Tell me what you guys want to see next in the comments down below. I got more videos coming. Stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment, and yeah, Uriah out.